Alright guys, so watch this video for Tuesday, May 31st. The market is closed on Monday for Memorial Day. This is the night before Memorial Day, and I'm making a video about charts. How sad is my life? Pretty sad. And the SPY trying to break out of this trend line here. So, you know, it's moved up very slowly for a week straight. So when you switch to the weekly, it actually had a pretty decent sized candle for the week and moving higher. Volume's nothing to speak of, but we're coming into summer too, so keep that in mind. Anyway, so here's what I'm watching for the week. I got to put CLRB back on watch. It's just in a quiet little flag pattern here, extremely narrow range on Friday. So on Tuesday, maybe that one finally breaks out to the upside again. It's a very low float stock that had a massive move on 40 million shares, you know, about a week ago. So we've got to watch that one. I always try to focus on the recent high flyers with massive relative volume and look for nice intraday entries. All right, so SPEX I'm not a huge fan of here because you had the gap up on massive volume, 4 red days in a row, back down to the moving averages, maybe a little bit of a hammer candle, but you almost have a round trip here, which just tells me whatever the news was isn't exciting the crowd that much. Having said that, maybe we get a pop next week, so I'm going to have it on a chart. Doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart. Abercrombie and Fitch, ANF. Back here in November, you gapped down and then did a little island reversal on the gap back up here. So it is an interesting area between 19 and 20, and you've got you know, gap down on earnings and then another red day. We can come down into this area on Tuesday. I might look for an intraday reversal, and if we catch one and then it closes strong, it might even be a decent swing trade entry, although I'm not a swing trader. But I want to watch ANF for, if nothing else, a snapback bounce. NERV, just a potential third day play. You had the massive move, quiet inside day on Friday, sorry. A lot of times then the next day you can get a rip. So again, worth having on a chart. GEO, big pop on Thursday, quiet inside day on Friday. See a theme forming here. And this isn't uncommon because Friday, you know, the Friday before a holiday weekend, pretty dead out there. So some of these might just continue pretty nicely on Tuesday. So that's GEO, LGF, nice pop on Thursday, quiet inside day on Friday. We watch it for a continuation higher. FLXN, you see a theme, big pop on Thursday, quiet inside day on Friday on lower volume. This one had a huge move on Thursday. That's definitely, and you know what, guys, these are not just going to be on watch for Tuesday. If we don't get triggers on any of these, they'll go right back on the watch list for Wednesday. So keep that in mind. W, now this, I don't know, I'm not in love with this one, but it moves really big at times. And there's one of those websites that's famous for putting out short sell ideas on some stocks. They're always trying to knock down this W, and they haven't been very successful. And so you had a big spike here. What is that, about 3 weeks ago? Maybe, yeah, almost a month ago. Big spike here. And then you had, it came up and revisited that. And you know what? It's really flagging right there below that area. And you can use the 200-day there, that purple line. A break above that, and this one might just get a nice move. It's a quiet stock generally, but when it does move, you can see some big violent candles to the upside every now and then. So you get kind of these little mini short squeezes. This might be my least favorite from the list as a day trader because it can be kind of a tough trader, spready and so on. But I think that little flag right at the highs of the spike on this might have been like earnings day and the 200-day, you do have a potential breakout to the upside here. So keep that one on a chart. VSLR, I don't like to chase, and this one had a really big move. I played golf on Friday to let everybody know, and kind of put Wayne in charge of the gappers. And VSLR, you know, I asked him, hey, how'd y'all do on Friday while I was on the golf course? And VSLR, they did catch this one. And when Wayne emailed me, he was quick to point out, how did he word it? He said that Gib 250, one of our members, Owen K, and Brian L, all kind of had that on the room's radar before Wayne was able to, before he noticed it, and those guys put it on his radar, and then he gave the idea. I do not want that on there. Let me try to fix that. All right, I think we got it. It looked like this, and they put it on his radar, and Wayne's idea, because you had the nice gap there, massive volume, sellers came in. This is what we look for on gappers, you know, is for sellers to come in, right? Which you could argue here. You had the gap up, nice pop, big volume, and then right here, see that red candle? sellers came in, and we want to see, that's what we want to see on a gapper. If you're looking for a long, that is, you want sellers to come in and you want those sellers to fail. So Wayne called this long 296. I'm sure worst case stop probably 280, right? And look at that. So 296, this thing ends up going, and I'll switch to 5-minute candles here, all the way to 388. What a great call and great teamwork according to Wayne there, and it doesn't surprise me. I'm not sure what the percentage, but 31% move, 16 cents risk. So anyway, congrats to those guys, but this has got to go back on watch, right? And now, again, I don't want to chase, and it's made a big move. Maybe Tuesday we get a quiet inside day, and then Wednesday we look long again. But sometimes you can just get a red to green the very next day and have it rip again. Certainly a beaten up stock, and a lot of volume there on Friday. So we'll be watching that one. And then lastly, CCXI. Again, Wayne called this one at, let me go to intraday, and this was on Friday. An expensive round of golf for me because I missed some really nice trades, but this was just flagging below 450. Wayne's idea was over 450, and you can see what happened. It went all the way to 560. 24% move in one day on 12 cents risk. So they did great, and a couple of these big movers like CCXI and VSLR I want to put back on the watch list. Now, again, both of these, really keep that in mind. I want them on the list all week. I don't know if Tuesday is going to be the day to play them, but as they did Friday morning before the open, and we will do again Tuesday morning. We will build a list together of potential gap plays, hopefully get some nice trades out of some, one or two nice gap plays, plus some setups from this list, and we can have a good day. So anyway, keep these big volume ones on watch all week. That's how I make my living, is off of recent high relative volume stocks and then low risk setups on an intraday basis. You can make some pretty good money in a very short period of time. But remember, always play defense when you trade, all right? Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see everybody on Tuesday.